Hey everyone, this is Pastor Eric, and I want to explain something that may seem to be lost on some members of the population, and that is the reason why that Air Force major got arrested. What one needs to understand is a person who goes active duty, who becomes an active duty member in the armed forces, they sacrifice certain rights for the sake of their service. That's a part of the sacrifice that our men and women in uniform make to keep us safe. Now, one of those things that is sacrificed is the ability to say whatever we want, whenever we want. When we put that uniform on, we become representatives of our country and of our government. Now, our conduct as military members is governed by a book known as the Uniform Code of Military Justice. It's what regulates military members' interaction with each other, as well as the way we comport ourselves, the way we carry ourselves. Now, there's two articles that are involved with what this gentleman did. There is Article 88 and there's Article 134. Now, a basic thumbnail sketch of 88 is this. You are not allowed as an armed service member in active duty, especially in uniform, to denigrate the President of the United States because he is the head of your chain of command. Neither are you allowed to publicly criticize him in uniform. Section Article 134 is very similar, but it governs not just the President of the United States, but your entire chain of command. You are not allowed to criticize your chain of command publicly, especially in uniform. Now, if he would have done this in civilian clothes, it may not have been as much of an issue. So I know there's going to be a lot of you saying that's unfair, and the reason being, and I mean this with all due respect, being a former military member myself, because I served in the United States Navy from 90 to 94, you don't understand. We in the military must be held to a higher level of discipline because our job, according to Rush Limbaugh, is to kill people and break things. We need good order and discipline on the battlefield. We need to march together. Individuality is really discouraged, especially in the case when we're facing our enemy. We need to operate as a unit, as a team, each doing our own job and doing our own job to the best of our ability to sustain the liberties that we have here in this country and to defend our country. So I'm hoping this makes some sense to everybody out there, because he doesn't have certain First Amendment rights. We don't have certain First Amendment rights when we're serving actively in the military. And we do that for the sake of good order and discipline. You want to call this fascist? Go ahead, because you guys just love throwing that word fascist and Nazi. He is the first person who's been arrested for speaking out. And it's only because of him being military and we all agreed to submit to the Uniform Code of Military Justice when we took the oath of enlistment. He didn't do this ignorantly. I mean, he's a major in the United States Air Force. Well, he still is, but we'll see how long that lasts. We can't have that. We can't have people coming out castigating the president and military and just acting in whatever rebellious way. This isn't civilian culture. And if those CP won't wrap your minds around, I'm sorry, but that's just the way it's got to be if you want to still be free and not speaking another nation's language because you've been conquered. On the whole fascist thing, enough. Fascist, Nazi, fascist. What happened to that guy would be happening to. Let's take you to Iran. All right, I know. Everyone's like, oh, they're the heroes, right? Oh, let's talk about the wonderful heroes just for a couple of moments, because we're talking freedom, right? There's videos on YouTube of Iranian soldiers washing the blood of protesters off the streets of Tehran after the military shot into a crowd of unarmed civilians. You want to see fascism at work? That's fascism at work. As a matter of fact, you know what the number one bestseller in the Arabian Peninsula was for a long time, may still be? Mein Kampf by Adolf Hitler. They like that whole final solution thing of getting rid of all the Jews. But that hasn't happened in this country. You guys have gathered thousands and thousands of people in parks and wherever else for your No Kings protests and everything else. And how many of you have been shot? How many of you had a rubber bullet? Oh, you're going to point. Well, here's the thing. There's protests and there's riots. When you start attacking people, when you start attacking law enforcement in the name of your idea of justice, they have a right to defend themselves. It's called, once again, good order and discipline, which we need to maintain in society, which our law enforcement selflessly does on a daily basis. So if you want to see fascism, you want to know what fascism really is, you need to look at Iran. You need to look at places that shoot unarmed protesters. Not the United States of America, where we enforce the Uniform Code of Military Justice. This guy knew what he was doing. He knew the consequences. He did it anyway. Well, I give the guy some props for standing up for his convictions. I kind of think his convictions are warped and twisted by the mainstream media's grooming of him to do this. Just like all the wackos in the left who've committed violence. Same thing. The media and the political establishment of the left have been inspiring stuff like this for years now. Because they know they can't do it, so they'll get the people who are, well, emotionally and mentally vulnerable to do it. Well, I've been prattling long enough. But that's an explanation of what happened for the civilians among us. We don't live by the same rules that you do because we have got to have a greater level of discipline and order in our ranks. Because we need to defend this nation. Thank you.